On September 6, 2025, Yunnan province in southwestern China endured a devastating disaster. Days of heavy rainfall triggered severe flooding and caused a major dam in the region to suddenly burst. The collapse released an enormous surge of water that swept through valleys, towns, and farmland, bringing destruction to communities already weakened by floods and waterlogged soils in previous days. This event is regarded as one of the most catastrophic disasters in the province's recent history. For days before the incident, water levels in the reservoir had risen steadily, far exceeding safe limits. Although controlled discharges were carried out, relentless rainfall placed unbearable pressure on the dam. By dawn on the 6th, the wall could no longer hold. Residents downstream recalled hearing a thunderous explosion, followed by torrents of muddy water crashing down, carrying soil, rocks, and debris. Within minutes, entire neighborhoods were submerged, vehicles overturned, homes were destroyed, and fertile farmlands disappeared beneath murky waters. Although evacuation warnings had been issued, the speed of the collapse left thousands unable to escape in time. Rescue teams rushed in with motorboats, rafts, and helicopters to save those trapped. But the fierce currents and floating debris made operations extremely dangerous. Meanwhile, emergency shelters quickly filled to capacity. Thousands of families who had lost their homes crowded into schools, community centers, or temporary tents. For many, the most urgent concern was simply survival, having shelter, clean water, and food to endure the days ahead. The humanitarian toll has been immense. Thousands of homes were swept away or severely damaged. Power lines collapsed, plunging communities into darkness. Hospitals became overcrowded as waves of injured people arrived, while some medical facilities themselves suffered flood damage. Floodwaters mixed with sewage and industrial chemicals, creating severe contamination and raising the threat of disease outbreaks. To prevent a public health crisis, relief organizations distributed water purification tablets, emergency medicines, and essential medical supplies. Yet agricultural losses remained staggering. Rice paddies, cornfields, and vegetable farms were completely destroyed. Livestock perished in large numbers. Seed reserves for the coming planting season were washed away, raising fears of long-term food shortages. Infrastructure across the province was nearly paralyzed. Bridges collapsed, major highways were washed out, and saturated slopes triggered landslides that blocked mountain roads. Railway services were suspended, leaving areas isolated. Engineers were dispatched urgently to inspect remaining dams and reservoirs amid fears of further collapses as heavy rain continued. Authorities mobilized all available resources. Military units were deployed to assist in evacuations, deliver supplies, and reinforce embankments. Hydrological experts monitored river systems and issued early warnings for downstream areas. Humanitarian groups worked with local governments to provide shelter, medicine, and even psychological support. Environmental scientists warned that contaminated soil and water could bring long-lasting effects to agriculture and public health. This disaster stands as a stark reminder of weaknesses in dam management and the growing dangers posed by climate change, which is making extreme weather more frequent and severe. Although Yunnan has flood control infrastructure, this event revealed its limitations. Experts emphasize the urgent need for stricter dam safety standards, expanded real-time monitoring, and community preparedness training.
看地上这个多厚。
Amid the tragedy, the courage and solidarity of Yunnan's people shine through. Many risked their own lives to save neighbors. Volunteers paddled boats to deliver food to flood-hit areas. Doctors and nurses worked tirelessly through the night under dire conditions. Together, they wrote a story of resilience and humanity. The road to recovery will take years. Homes must be rebuilt, transportation restored, farmland rehabilitated, and polluted water sources cleaned. Authorities now face not only the challenge of repairing what was lost, but also of building stronger defenses to protect future generations. For tens of thousands of families, the journey ahead remains daunting, but the shared determination to rise again will be a source of strength. The tragedy of September 6, 2025 will remain a painful memory, but it also serves as a profound reminder of the importance of preparedness, adaptation, and unity in the face of natural disasters. Thank you for following this report, and please stay informed, stay safe, and continue to share solidarity. We will bring you the latest updates in our upcoming reports. Europe, August 1st, 2025. Severe weather has once again struck Europe, bringing chaos, destruction, and widespread disruptions across several countries, particularly Germany and Italy. Violent thunderstorms, torrential rain, hail, and fierce winds wreaked havoc on Friday, leaving authorities scrambling to respond to emergencies and assess the damage. On Friday evening, a powerful and fast-moving thunderstorm unleashed its fury over the city of Offenburg, Germany, causing extensive damage and prompting hundreds of emergency calls within a short span of time. At approximately 6:00 p.m., ominous dark clouds rolled in, accompanied by loud claps of thunder that signaled the impending storm. Minutes later, the skies opened, releasing a torrential downpour that quickly overwhelmed drainage systems, resulting in widespread flooding across the city. The industrial zone in western Offenburg was particularly hard hit. A large warehouse was inundated after floodwaters breached its gates, causing significant property damage. Nearby businesses also reported water intrusion, with some facilities suffering heavy losses. Rail transport in the region came to a standstill after a large tree fell onto overhead power lines between Bolsbach and Windschlag, forcing Deutsche Bahn to cancel train services along the busy Offenburg-Rastatt route. The federal police and railway emergency crews were dispatched to inspect the line for additional hazards.
La parrapela. No sé si se salvará la aceituna ya.
Elsewhere in the city, streets were submerged and traffic ground to a halt in several districts. The Offenburg Fire Department reported over 100 emergency deployments by late evening, responding to incidents ranging from flooded basements to fallen trees that crushed parked vehicles. The new hospital construction site was also impacted, with its excavation pit turning into a temporary reservoir as barrier fences were torn down by powerful wind gusts and surging water. At the freight depot, a stationary cargo train was struck by a fallen tree, causing major disruptions to freight operations, though fortunately no injuries were reported. Preliminary estimates suggest that the storm caused millions of euros in damages, leaving businesses and homeowners facing costly repairs. The German Meteorological Service, DWD, has warned that more severe weather, including heavy rain, hail, and damaging winds, could hit southwest Germany over the weekend. Emergency services in Offenburg and surrounding towns remain on high alert, prepared for further incidents. At the same time, severe weather also hammered northern Italy, particularly the Veneto region, where violent thunderstorms erupted on Friday afternoon, bringing heavy rain, large hail, and powerful wind gusts.
Was also spared the hailstorm, which also brought heavy hail. Meanwhile, just a few kilometers from Albacete in El Celebro, residents witnessed heavy rain, leaving video footage showing poor visibility due to the rainfall.
The weather system, described as a supercell, formed around 2 o'clock p.m. and moved rapidly from west to east, lashing provinces such as Vicenza, Padova, and Treviso. In some areas, hailstones measuring up to 3 centimeters in diameter pelted the ground, shredding vegetation and damaging vehicles, rooftops, and agricultural crops.
Qua è un punto là, a parte che è tutta una marcatura.
Farmers across the region, particularly in Padova, reported severe agricultural losses, with vineyards, fruit orchards, and vegetable fields sustaining heavy damage. According to Coldiretti, Italy's National Farmers Association, the hailstorm destroyed significant portions of the season's harvest within just minutes. Strong winds uprooted trees and sent debris flying, while localized flash floods rendered several roads impassable, leaving motorists stranded or forced to seek alternative routes. Emergency services were dispatched to clear fallen trees and assist residents affected by the flooding.
Granizada monumental el 1 de agosto aquí en la Verallera.
Fortunately, no injuries or fatalities were reported, as the storm cell moved quickly eastward after causing extensive disruption. The Veneto region's Civil Protection Functional Center had already issued a yellow weather warning for thunderstorms earlier in the day, which has now been extended through the weekend. Meteorologists predict that August 2nd and 3 could see more widespread and intense storms, particularly in the Prealps and Pianura areas, with risks of severe weather, heavy downpours, strong winds, and additional hailstorms, with storm systems remaining active over parts of Germany, Italy, and neighboring regions. Authorities are urging residents to remain vigilant, avoid unnecessary travel, and monitor real-time weather updates. Flooded roads, fallen power lines, and storm debris continue to pose hazards, while emergency services brace for a potentially volatile weekend of extreme weather conditions.
The world changing, disasters are no longer rare, they are reality. You cannot predict the next earthquake, flood, or wildfire, but you can choose how ready you are. This channel isn't just here to inform, it's here to wake people up before it's too late. So if you're watching this now, take it as a sign. Don't just scroll, don't just watch. Subscribe, learn, and prepare, because awareness isn't fear, it's power. Nature doesn't send us warnings, but we can. Floods, earthquakes, wildfires, and storms are striking harder and faster than ever before. By subscribing, you are not just watching, you are joining a movement to stay alert, stay informed, and helps others to do the same. Hit the subscribe now, because the next disaster won't wait, and neither should you. Be ready and be aware.